Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Welding and Sparesbox. Don't forget Benny5 on checkout. This week, we got the Pajero Mini back in the shop because that's all we're doing at the moment. So there's no surprises there, but we have some pretty cool parts to put into it today. We have a factory rear plated LSD from a later model Pajero Mini. We've also got a Fujitsubo catback exhaust, which we're probably going to have to cut up. And the reason we're going to have to cut that up is because for some reason in Japan, you can buy a tow bar for a Pajero Mini. Now, I'm obviously not planning on towing car trailers with this. However, I am much more leaning towards using it as a recovery point and potentially even making a removable winch with the 50x50 socket to be able to slide it straight in and out of that tow bar. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little feature that I wanted to add to it anyway. I was looking at making my own one. However, being able to literally buy one off the shelf in Japan is pretty fantastic, which to me personally is really baffling because I've never actually seen a box trailer or any kind of accessory or implement that you would need a trailer or a tow bar for. So I'm very confused as to why they exist. And even stranger, you can still buy them brand new. So this particular one is secondhand, but you can buy the same one brand new for about triple what I paid for this one. So yeah, going to be some interesting things going on today. It is not a direct bolt on though. You do need to drill some holes in the car. It does use the recovery point on the passenger side, I believe, but we do need to drill some holes and either make some crush tubes or oversize the top hole in a rail to be able to bolt it all together. But that's going to be a bit of a learning experience for everyone. So we'll chuck it up on the hoist. We'll do the diff first because I know how that's going to play out. Maybe some interesting stuff for Sigma people with that diff too. So I currently have a theory and I want to prove it today. So we're going to be playing around with some stuff that may or may not make sense at the time. But once we get it apart, we can have a bit of a chat and everyone can learn together. So let's dive on in. Oh, it got me. Don't show that. I look like a dumbass.
Whoops.
Now I have removed both the brake drums off the car. It is a good idea to actually label them because 9 times out of 10 the adjustment is slightly different left to right. So if you swap them over, you may find that it's going to be very tight or very loose on one side. Now, it's not the biggest thing because you can just adjust it back up, but it just pays to put stuff back where it came from. So we are going to label them so they go back to the right spot. Yep, we've done the oil. No, that's fine, that didn't hurt. What the hell? Massive, 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 tiny. Why? Yar.
No bench space.
No bench space. Ground it is. Now I'm going to put this in just to prove my theory. This isn't the right one. I love it when a plan comes into place 2 years later than you need a part. So now that that's in, let's talk about it. I always had this theory that the middle of the diff in the Pajero Mini was very similar, if not the same, to what was in my old GE Sigma. And I've just actually proven that it is in fact the same. So this center is it's actually a Galant center from Japan, but it is the same dimensions as far as the bolt pattern and also the axle spline count as Pajero Mini and also as a GE Sigma. So anyone who has a GE Sigma now knows that you can put the LSD from a Pajero Mini into a Sigma diff. Now, that is specifically only for what they call or refer to as the Jap diff. These LSD centers obviously won't fit the Borg-Warner diff that was in the Australian assembled vehicles, or some of the Australian assembled vehicles. My particular GE was actually an Australian assembled vehicle that still had a Jap diff in it. So mine was a 355 auto diff originally. So potentially the factory manuals have a Borgie, but I'm not exactly sure. That being said, there's now at least an option for an LSD center. So if you have a GE Sigma with the Jap diff in it, you can definitely put a Pajero Mini LSD in it. Like I said, the dimensions are the same and also the spline count is the same. I actually also put a Galant axle into the Pajero Mini LSD off camera to test that first this morning before we even pulled any of it apart. But yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. I mean, admittedly, it's not the most cost-effective way of doing it, but you can get, I believe you can get both Kaz and Cusco LSDs for the Pajero Mini They're about 1,400 bucks, which isn't mega cheap, but if you are wanting to stay with that original GE LSD or GE Jap diff, I think that's definitely the way to go. Other than that, you can do a weldy, but I'm not a massive fan of weldies because eventually they break. The GE diffs also are quite common to snap axles, so yeah, probably a weldy is definitely not going to do it any favors, and LSD is the way to go if you want to spend a little bit of money and get arguably the biggest upgrade you can get other than changing the ratio. I wouldn't recommend trying to find a Pajero Mini diff purely because they're very hard to find and they're going to cost you the same, if not more, than like a Kaz or a Cusco Senna. Also, the air freight on a Pajero Mini diff is pretty horrendous compared to just the LSD Senna. Ask me how I know. So yeah, I would recommend, if you're just going to put it into a Sigma, that's the way to go. I was fortunate in that I found one of these, and like I said, it cost me about the same landed as a replacement Senna would, but the benefit is I can literally just sling that whole thing in, and I've got a complete spare, admittedly non-LSD, but another spare diff that can go back in the car. Lots of learning today, so we'll chuck now the LSD in. We'll clean the diff up first, and then we'll reseal this with some Permatex. We'll get it back in and fill it with oil, and then we'll move on to fitting the tow bar. Then once the tow bar's in, we can fit the exhaust and see how much it does or doesn't fit. I'm a little bit concerned because there is a cutout in that tow bar for the exhaust, so I'm really hoping that the Fujitsubo tip will fit through that. However, I'm quietly confident that we are going to have to cut the tip off and at least change the position of it. But lots more things to come. Let's keep on trucking. First, I'm going to get a beverage. I bet you whoever had that tow bar towed a boat with it. It's got Sea Marine Group on the sticker. This would be mad to drag a little tinny around, or a jet ski, or a Zilla jet boat. This tab is supposed to go there and secure it against the tow hook, which is fine for short term, but see how it's actually bent that tab? Right. So what I'm going to do is make a spacer so that it crushes the right amount of load against it. Install that quickly, because I'm actually going to change all these bolts too, like they're all trashed. Oh, what? So that nut is in there. So I'm going to have to cut that off, weld a nut back into that. I bet you what's happened is that was corroded and they've had to cut the bolt to get it out, and then the whole thing's just fallen inside the guts of it. Maybe I'll modify the tow bar to clear the exhaust instead of modify the exhaust to clear the tow bar. If I'm already cutting that side up, like this side the weld looks a bit dodgy anyway, maybe I'll just weld the bar. Like there's porosity through the whole thing. It's like they were welding it outside in the wind. And I reckon this has been cut and welded before because the stickers have got paint and there's like grind marks there. So maybe they've already had a couple of goes at it. Yes, so it's gone directly through the rail, which is exactly where we need it. But now what I need to do is basically get to the top. And then I'm going to get some high tensile cap head bolts. Oh, that's hot sparkles. Audio slide. Have fun in the edit with that one. So we've got the tow bar mounted. It's all effectively at this point mocked up. All the fasteners that are going to go in it aren't in it yet. I've just used old bolts to get it in position, specifically because I don't want to use the nylox more than once. That being said, it is obviously going to come back off again because regardless of if we ever actually have to mod it to fit the exhaust, we're going to have to cut that left side off so that we can actually weld the captive nut back in. It's going to be a little bit of a mission, but it's not the end of the world. Now that it's mocked up, I want to fit the exhaust because if we do have to modify it, I don't want to have to put it on and off 5 times to work out where it's going to clear and where it's not. So yeah, now we're going to get the cap, well, we're going to remove the old system, then put the cap back on and see where it all fits in relation to each other. So let's keep on going. We're in the ballpark. But that's, oh, you know what else I can do? I can actually trim that gusset because that strength there,
Yeah.
if I cut it straight there,
Yeah.
it's actually no different. Like there's no more strength in that. So I reckon I'll just cut that there to there, cut that there to there, cut that off, weld that in there. Because what I'm gonna have to do is take it out, cut that off, put it back in and tack it on the car. Because otherwise we're not gonna get the position, because that and that are related. You can't just give it a half a deal. Oh, let's start it, I wanna hear it. That's a pretty nice system, eh? I'm actually surprised how well that fits considering it's very clearly not made to work with a tow bar. I anticipate that that gap there is where the factory exhaust would have come out, but I'm more than happy to leave that like that. Now I kind of want a polished stainless snorkel to match it. Let's hear it, let's hear it, let's hear it. Oh, no exhaust leak noise. Best. So now you'll never get a bolt bind. So a lot of the times what happens when you weld a nut to a plate, you can actually get it where it'll sit on the bolt if you use the bolt to locate it. And then when you wind the bolt out, it actually catches on the edge of the hole and it can damage the bolt. So by machining the shoulder on that nut and also oversizing the hole in the plate, you can sit in there nice and neat and actually just weld it where it's supposed to go and it will never bind and you'll never have an issue. And there's still plenty of shoulder there that's obviously going to still support the load. So yeah, we'll weld that in now. Then we can start welding the thing back together. Already I can tell with the rear LSD it's night and day. Just going around corners, even just driving in the car park, it feels very tight. in the rear end compared to before. Also, another thing to note is when you fit a stainless exhaust to any car, it is going to expand and move around when you fit it, so it's a good idea to test drive it, especially if you're in a workshop. Test drive it before you give it back to the customer. On this particular setup, it's moved around a little bit and now the exhaust is touching the tow bar, so when we get back to the shop, we're going to give the hangers a little bit of a bend and free up some space there, and it will stop that annoying rattle. But now we're going to keep forward driving and go to the point where this always suffers and test the articulation and see if it's still grip on flex, which it should have. This is the point of the trail where I always really struggle, especially with a bit of articulation. Now, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is quite a steep hill and it's a bit of a right-hand corner and there's a big rut. So typically we'll go through that, the car will articulate and the left-hand rear wheel will just lose all traction. And the only way to get through this hole previously has been basically to just take a big run at it, which I don't love because you're already turning to the right downhill, so I don't want to give it more momentum to roll over. So yeah, hopefully today we can tackle this a lot slower and be able to just kind of work our way through that rut and not sort of force it or induce any momentum to start a rollover, because it's suboptimal outcome in a forward drive. All the forward driving I'm experiencing. Let's give it a go. Oh, cakewalk. See you, Gian. When we went across some rocks today, we did bash it a little bit, but fortunately we caught the gearbox cross members taking the most of the hit, which I've already bashed into things multiple times. This big rub mark here on the brand new exhaust obviously is just dirt from when we went through that big low crossing where we actually nearly knocked the GoPro off the tow bar. So yeah, it's all pretty minor and I'm pretty happy with that, but I'm just absolutely stoked with the way the diffs worked, so cheering with that. Obviously we've had to adjust the exhaust hangers as well, which is very common on exhaust systems, specifically stainless. It just grows and moves and expands a lot more than mild steel. So yeah, be prepared to actually readjust it a couple of times once you've installed it, because yeah, it can grow, especially when you've got multiple bends that change angles and change paths. You do get it sort of moving through bends and stuff, so it's definitely worth keeping in mind if you put a stainless exhaust system on your car and it does touch. Yeah, give the hangers a bit of a tweak and then it'll stop knocking, hopefully. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for today. Super stoked with this setup. It's really starting to come along. That LSD has totally transformed the car, which I knew was going to be the case, but until I actually got one in, I didn't really realize how much better it would be. Being able to sort of crawl through bits that normally we would have had to take a lot more speed at before. While it's more fun to go through things fast, it's definitely a lot safer to be able to crawl through things and not be sort of skipping around and trying to kill yourself. So yeah, I'm really stoked with the outcome. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.